Hello, welcome to an elementary behavior analysis help video. Today I'm going to be talking about some forms of differential reinforcement. I'm going to go over differential reinforcement of other behavior, differential reinforcement of alternative behavior, and differential reinforcement of communication, as well as some examples at the end. So first I'm going to discuss differential reinforcement of other behavior. This is also referred to as DRO. So if you see that, that's what this is referring to. So DRO is when the reinforcer is contingent on the absence of the problem behavior. Reinforcement is no longer received after the problem behavior occurs, which is extinction, but it is received for a period of time in which anything that is not the problem behavior occurs. So in this instance, you wouldn't define another behavior to reinforce, it would just be that the problem behavior is not occurring. In order to do this, you have to identify what is reinforcing the behavior with a functional assessment, which I discussed in a previous video. And then you would identify a reinforcer to use for the absence of problem behavior, determine how much time without the problem behavior must pass before reinforcement is received, and then you would go on to implement the DRO procedures. If a problem behavior does occur, you would reset the interval of time. Over time, the interval should be increased to make sure that this behavior is maintained. Next is the differential reinforcement of alternative behavior. This is referred to as DRA. In this case, the desirable behavior is reinforced each time it occurs, while the undesirable behavior is not reinforced. When using this, the desirable behavior should already be present and should be a behavior you want to increase. You can't really reinforce a behavior that isn't already occurring in this case. You must also have access to an effective reinforcer that you can deliver after every occurrence of desirable behavior, so you want to make sure that it's pretty accessible. When using the DRA procedures, you must identify and define both the desirable and undesirable behaviors, identify the reinforcer, which I will explain in more detail later, reinforce desirable behavior immediately and consistently, and eliminate the reinforcement for the undesirable behaviors. In order to maintain this behavior, you must use intermittent reinforcement. You should also create a plan to generalize this behavior after. An important thing to note is that DRA combines reinforcement for the desirable behavior and extinction for the undesirable behavior. Both of these concepts are coming into play in DRA. So just a quick note on identifying reinforcers. There are some different methods that you can use to find an effective reinforcer. One of these is to use what is already proven to be effective and what was previously maintaining the undesirable behavior. For example, if you determine the function of behavior to be attention, then maybe you can utilize attention for the desirable behavior but withhold it for the undesirable behavior. Of course, this isn't always going to be an option, so there are some other things you can use as well. In some cases, you may be able to just ask the client what is reinforcing to them. You can also observe the person and see what activities or items they show interest in. Or you can complete a preference assessment. There are a few different ways to do this. One of these ways is the single stimulus assessment. In this case, one stimulus is presented at a time to see if interest is shown. There's also a paired stimulus assessment, also known as forced choice or paired choice. This is when two potential reinforcers are shown and one of these reinforcers is chosen. Then whatever item is chosen is completed with another item until all of the potential reinforcers from a given pool have been tested. Then there's a multiple stimulus assessment. This is when multiple possible reinforcers are shown at the same time, and the individual is able to choose which one is most reinforcing. And then this can go one of two ways. The stimulus can either be replaced into the pool, and this is known as multiple stimulus with replacement, or it is removed from the pool and not replaced, and this is known as multiple stimulus without replacement, or MSWO. Then the third type of differential reinforcement I'm going to go over is differential reinforcement of communication, or DRC. This process falls under the category of DRA since you would be reinforcing an alternative behavior, only this one is specifically about communication. This process is also known as functional communication training, and it involves reinforcing communication that produces the same reinforcing effect that was previously maintained by the problem behavior. So, for example, if the function of behavior is attention, then the individual would be able to communicate their desire for attention rather than engaging in whatever problem behavior was occurring. Now I'm going to go over a few quick examples. So in this example, if we're looking at the problem behavior of leaving one seat, which of the processes would each of these represent? So in the first one, the student receives reinforcer when they remain in their seat for 5 minutes. If you want to pause and see if you can guess it, go ahead. But this one would be DRO, because you're reinforcing a period of time in which they are not engaging in the problem behavior, but an alternative behavior is not defined. The next one says that a student receives reinforcer for verbally requesting to leave their seat. This one would be DRC, because you're reinforcing their ability to communicate what they are trying to gain with the problem behavior. And then the last one says a student receives reinforcer for using a fidget toy, but does not receive reinforcer when they leave their seat. This would be DRA, because you are reinforcing an alternative behavior that serves the same function as the problem behavior. Now, in these examples, it's important to note that you would have to find the function of behavior for each one. While the behavior itself, which is leaving one seat, may be the same in all three examples, the function may not be the same, and you need to identify that before you determine if you want to use differential reinforcement, and if you do, which type of differential reinforcement. Hopefully this helped to explain this concept a little better. Thank you for watching.